Hey,
Hi.
You know how we always have all these helicopters flying overhead and cars and shit? What if they're drones?
What if they're drones?
What if every time we try to get a silent moment for this podcast to be able to edit shit correctly, there's drones? What if they've been drones this whole time?
Oh no.
Oh no, no.
Speaking of drones, do you want to just hop right into it? Because what the fuck, girl?
What the fuck? What's up, New Jersey?
What's up, New Jersey?
What's going on in your skies, homies?
Oh my God.
And there were reports like 2 weeks ago of them in Temecula.
Yeah.
I know. Guys, aliens.
Girl.
Aliens.
Okay.
I'm really rooting for aliens.
Okay, obviously.
God damn!
My goddamn is clearly these fucking drones in New Jersey, right?
Obsessed.
Drones, UAPs,
Obsessed.
UFOs, whatever the fuck you want to call them, right?
Yes. Love it. Remember how hard I've been rooting for this. I'm just going to keep saying this. We're all so excited, right?
Oh my God. Okay. Theories, right?
Yeah,
obviously,
let's jump into it.
aliens.
If you don't know, if you're not inside of the U.S. and they're not telling you guys, which I can't imagine.
They're barely telling us.
That's true. That's
They're
true.
trying not to, but TikTok is like, hey,
Guess
did you
what?
guys see this shit?
This is fucking crazy. Okay, so all over the U.S., and I think it's happening in China and shit too.
I don't know.
think like the British Prime Minister or some shit just came up and said something about it. I don't remember. And I was probably incapacitated when I saw that TikTok. But there's a lot of fucking drones flying around, and like people are taking videos and they look fucking weird.
Well, and they look fucking weird, and people are like, they're big. Like, okay.
the size of a car.
So I've seen size of SUV, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I just saw another TikTok where this bitch was out, like, running or something, and she's like, there's one right here. Okay, but
It's
you could
smaller.
got a good video of it and everything. And they're like, it's not like a car, though. It's like a larger bicycle or something, right? Like
Right.
a big
drone.
Bigger than a drone, like the drone that you think about, but it's smaller than, like, it's not a fucking building or whatever flying around, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
What the fuck is right?
Oh, what the fuck?
Girl, I have so many theories.
Okay, wait. Okay,
tell
so
me.
then some dude in fucking New Jersey, right, on
Yeah.
TikTok was like, hey guys, I got a fucking drone. And
Right.
so I followed him
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
'cause I
He's
was
like, I'm going to go follow them. I'm going to go fly.
why has no one done this? Right?
Right.
Motherfucker got arrested.
What the fuck? He got
flew-
arrested?
He flew his drone up and he was like gonna go fucking find him or something. And then the the police they came and arrested him because they found his drone was flying there. And apparently it was like a no-fly fucking zone or something. But it's cool that these fucking drones are flying there, that they're
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. We'll just, how did they arrest him? How'd they know it was him?
I don't know. Maybe they went to his, like,
Did they
saw
down
landed
it?
at his house or something. They didn't down his drone, but
Oh.
they did confiscate it, and they arrested him. And
You can't do that, America!
He has to pay tens of thousands of dollars in, like, a fine for
Guys.
flying in this no-fly zone.
This is fucking dumb. I hate living here. Let's all leave the country. Can we all revolt? Like, don't even get me started on the CEO bullshit and this
Oh.
Luigi guy.
Fucking Luigi Mangione? Oh my God, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, I'm putting them all together, and I'm starting to get real pissed at our government. And I've already been pretty pissed, but I'm getting more and more pissed, and I'm like...
Sure, but these
Yeah.
are two completely separate issues to me. One is
They
like,
are.
eat the rich and fuck them.
They
and the other
are.
is like, also the rich is not telling you anything. They're
That's
not
why
telling you
that's why
anything.
it ties together in my mind for me, because I'm thinking like from a step away.
Yeah.
Right. But I work at a corporation, so maybe this is why I'm thinking of it, where I'm like, this is just another sign of anybody with a lot of money gets shit the way they want.
Yes.
Right. So like the government has a lot of money. They don't have to tell us shit about drones. If they don't
No.
want to, they can fucking lie to our face, and no matter how much we hate it, there's nothing that is ever gonna happen or ever change or whatever. Unless we start a fucking revolution. But let's not kill people when we do that, right?
No, but apparently you can't send your own fucking drones up either.
You
to
can't
go
do
investigate, even though the government is like, yeah, we don't know. I don't know. Don't approach it. Might be dangerous,
Exactly.
but also it's probably fine.
Exactly. And that is the reason in my mind these are very similar problems.
Yes.
Because it's the same thing with this Luigi guy. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And this man's photo has been plastered everywhere. So
Yeah.
you think he's going to get a free trial or a fair trial? Probably not. And I hope it goes in his favor, because we're all
Well-
fucking over here like, what the fuck is going on? But then also, like,
Jury nullification's a thing.
exactly. But don't tell him you know that. Just fucking nullify that shit.
Yeah, if you get on the jury, you just be like, yeah, no, everything's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It
no,
seems
yeah.
all above board.
He seems innocent. Whatever you want to do if you're ever on that fucking jury. My whole point being is like, I'm starting to get really upset at the fact that this one thing, some rich guy died, and because the rich people are like, oh my God, we can't fucking have that.
How
They
scary.
already have the ballistics back on the fucking gun that they recovered on him like the day after they got the gun. Girl, we have covered stories where it has been years and we still can't get testing on fucking DNA or something.
Because that's just someone's mom. Like, who
what
fucking
the
cares?
fuck is wrong?
Girl.
Like, why do we live here? Why do we allow it? And then these big-ass CEO corporations, they donate their fucking money because they have bajillions of it. They give it to the people who are in our government when they go and lobby and do all this fucking shit because they're the people in the government are the ones making the regulations and everything that directly impact the CEO's fucking bottom line of their personal bank account. You don't think that's fucking corruption? I don't know what else you think that shit is. And it is known. It is common knowledge. It's not even a fucking secret. And then you see how they're using that money, right, to stay in their little power struggles. And then they use our tax dollars to only chase after the people they fucking care about because it directly impacts their safety. How come you're not doing this shit for all the fucking school shootings? Little Susie died. Why aren't we doing the same level of fucking reconnaissance on that shit? And why don't you care more about that?
And how much do we know about the dude who attempted to assassinate Trump? Like, you didn't get fucking shit on him.
Everybody's power is all tied to money because it's all fucking corrupt. That's why I want to go to Seychelles. If we all just fucking agree we're trading seashells, that's what's of value. Whoever's sitting on the fucking beach, you got a lot of money.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because someone will just fucking comb the beach and make a mile or
I
mountain
know,
out of
exactly.
it.
We could just do, just treat each other nicely.
Just be
Can we just have normal healthcare? It's insane to me that, the only way you can really afford healthcare in America is to have a job that gives you healthcare, right? And if you have a job that gives you healthcare, you are at the mercy of whatever fucking healthcare your job is willing to pay for, right? You don't get a choice in your healthcare.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So you want to know my healthcare struggle? What?
I'll tell you my theory. And then I do want to hear about your health struggle because I just got so distracted.
Oh, my healthcare struggle is really not that bad. It's literally that I was on Covered California because we're poor, right? Well, first I was on Medi-Cal, and then we made more money, and then they were like, "You're moving up to Covered California." We were like, "Fuck yeah!" And then Medi-Cal was like, "Hey, just kidding. We think you're poor again, so we're just gonna go ahead and cancel that health insurance for you
through
Covered California, and then we're just gonna see if
they'll pick you back up
over here." Yeah. Hey, guess what? We fucking don't, right?
So you're not
for
insured?
this last month, we've been uninsured, and then Medi-Cal still is like, "Yeah, we have 10 days to look at that, so we're just gonna look at it." And then that 10 days was on Monday, and I called on Friday, and I was like, "Have you fucking looked at it?" And they were like, "No." And I was like, "Cool, I still don't have health insurance." I was actively paying.
If you get in a car crash right now, it's gonna cost you $30,000 just to be seen for a broken leg or some shit.
I was actively paying money for health insurance. Yeah. And then they were like, "We can save you money. We'll just go ahead and fucking try to do that." And I was like, I didn't ask. I didn't want you to. I didn't want you to fucking touch it. I didn't want you to do anything. And they're like, "We're just going to go ahead and cancel that for you." Why is it not just free everywhere?
Because it's corruption.
What the fuck?
It's a business.
What the fuck? No, but
you know what also makes me mad? War. Why are we doing all this?
War.
Why are we doing all? Who voted?
What really grinds my gears? War.
I get it. Whatever. We don't have to. We've already been too political in this podcast.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Remember why? We're all here. We don't want to hear your politics." Listen, love you guys, and I agree. It's just let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And you guys can tell us you're all crazy and I don't agree with you. That's fine.
Yeah.
I still love you. You're still my best friends. But this is pretty exciting.
This is really exciting.
What the fuck? And then also, if you're not American, you don't know all this, what the fuck?
I'm sure
they
not
do
in America
now.
And you do know more, can you fucking email us?
Let us know what's going on out there, guys.
If it's yours.
Yeah. Can you keep us informed? Because they're starting to restrict. Literally, we're in fucking North Korea right now.
It feels like
all of our media is restricted.
Yeah.
Guys, this whole drone shit, no official media outlet will use the letters UAP.
Yeah.
Or any word alien. They were told not to use it. You have to say they're drones.
But it's not a drone.
But it's an orb floating in the sky rotating.
But some of them are drones.
Yeah,
and those
for
people
sure.
are getting arrested.
So dumb.
Fucking crazy.
So what do you think is going to happen? And then we'll end it. Because this will be my goddamn too at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think it's just going to continue status quo? They'll say whatever it is. It's just Happy New Year's in the sky. And then we'll all just go back to going to work and not asking questions and doing whatever. If it doesn't go any further than it is now.
Yeah. I think it's going to stop or it'll fizzle out and we'll be told something like, "Oh, yeah, fucking a month ago when all those drones were there, that was actually just FedEx," or something fucking stupid.
I think that's very probable. I think that's the most probable outcome.
Yeah. And then it'll just fizzle out and die. And then in 30 years, they'll be like,
"This is what it was."
You guys remember all those?
I'm afraid that's happening with the Luigi guy too right now. Because I can't find any information except for on TikTok. And I'm like, "Oh, here's the media censorship happening again," which is why I want want to talk about it. It's why I want to say
going away in January. It's fucking crazy, man.
I don't think it's going to go away. I hope it's not bad.
It's also the end of December. It feels so very like, anyway, on the new year. Like, okay, this is when aliens decide to come is January 1st or something. Like, it just feels so fucking set up, I guess.
Staged.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very minimum.
At the very least, it's very interesting time to be alive. What a time to be a fucking alive.
Honestly, do you want to talk about a time that somebody was unalived?
I do.
Okay.
Okay. So most of that will probably stay in for Patreon, and most of it will have been taken out.
Well, leave that to Dylan. Good luck, Dill.
Good luck, Dylan.
Okay, this week on episode 325, I'm going to tell you about Ellen Greenberg.
Ellen.
Have you heard her name? She's been in the media.
I don't.
Okay. I'd only heard about her once, so.
Greenberg. All right.
Okay, so forewarning, this is a long one, and I did my best.
All right.
So we're going to jump right into it. In 2011, Ellen Greenberg was a 26-year-old woman who lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
In her college years, she attended Penn State, where her brilliant smile was known to cheer up just about any one of her friends.
Aw.
And she was known to be super organized and clean and friendly and...
Clean.
Yeah, like very tidy. Later on, it was described as like borderline OCD, but she was a chick. I took it as like she's a chick. Yeah. You know how like you move into an apartment with a chick and everything's all cute and nice or whatever, and then you move into an apartment with your boy and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Why is there so much fucking
Why are we using toilet
everywhere?
paper for paper towels?
Yeah.
Like,
what the
shit
fuck is
sticking in my
happening?
hands. Yeah. Like it's just chaos.
Yeah.
So I just take it as like her friends were like, nah, she's real organized. Like she had her shit together,
Yeah,
right?
she had a nice apartment or whatever.
Exactly. Whenever she had roomies or anything, they always said that she always kept it very nice. Like one roommate commented, like if you were in the middle of cutting something up and then you had to leave for a moment to go to the restroom, she would tidy up behind you. And I'm like, sounds like an amazing roommate.
Yeah.
You know? But it didn't sound like she was like crazy about it to where people were like, oh my God.
Like she was always on you to clean up.
It was more like sweet, you know?
Yeah. She cared. She was a good mom figure.
Exactly. So after she graduated, Ellen worked as a teacher's aide for special needs children, and at night she would study for her master's degree.
All right.
A friend of hers set her up on a blind date with a man by the name of Sam Goldberg. Now, she's Greenberg, and he's Goldberg.
Well,
yeah.
We are gonna move on up.
That's right. We're going from green to gold, bitch. So,
ooh, baby, you're lot in life.
Yep. So she gets set up on a blind date with Sam Goldberg, and he just so happened to work for NBC Sports.
Oh, okay.
I think he was like an announcer or some shit for the golf portion of NBC Sports. I don't really know for sure, and I didn't write it down.
Sounds significantly less exciting when you say the golf portion.
It did not sound exciting.
Especially an announcer for... And he's coming up.
Well, I only say golf because I guess he had to leave town often to go to these golf tournaments. And I just said announcer because I'm like, he works for NBC Sports. I don't know.
All right.
I don't think I fucking read any of that. That's what my brain did. But anyway.
He worked there.
He worked
did some
there.
reports on golfing.
Exactly. And he had to have to travel for his work often.
All right.
Ellen's parents found Sam to be a very nice guy, and he was really charming, and they approved of their relationship.
They're always charming.
Uh-huh. Ellen's friends seemed to like Sam as well, as friends like strays, you know?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he came around, and all of a sudden Ellen wasn't around as much, and that part sucked. But, you know, he was nice. He didn't give me any alarm. Ellen would refer to Sam as her knight in shining armor, and it was clear that Ellen was head over heels in love with Sam.
Oh, okay. Good. Good for her.
Right? Now, I don't know how long they dated, but it didn't take long for them to start talking about marriage. And I don't think they ever were, like, engaged. I don't know if he proposed or if he did. It wasn't very clear. But they were talking about marriage pretty quickly, it seems.
Okay.
Ellen would fly out to visit Sam at his golf tournaments pretty regularly, and like I said, he'd have to leave for his job or whatever. Yeah. And so her way of like being with him or whatever, she'd go visit him and fly out with him.
That's fun.
I know. I think he would fly out to San Diego. Like I'm guessing Torrey Pines. I'm speculating. I didn't look up any of that, but that's super fun.
Yeah, go on a little mini vacation with him for a day or two.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Exactly. On one of these return flights from visiting him, Ellen was sitting in first class, and Sam was in the back of the plane. Haha.
Loser. He was probably like, you can have my ticket.
I know. And Ellen used the barf bag in the front of her chair to write a note to one of her cousins, which they were at camp or something. And I guess she would write to them regularly. I don't really know the details, but for whatever reason, she wanted to write this note while she was on the plane and she didn't have a piece of paper, so she used the barf bag.
Okay.
And she even put in the note, like, I thought it would be funny to use the barf bag because I didn't have a piece of paper. But the note basically was like, okay, Sam and I are getting pretty serious and we have a date in mind for getting married. It was much more playful, by the way, but I'm just giving you the Cliff Notes. And we're thinking that we want to either get married at Hershey's Castle, because they live in Pennsylvania where Hershey's is a thing, the chocolate Hershey's. We're either going to get married at Hershey's Castle or we want to do a destination wedding, but we haven't decided what. And again, I'm like, San Diego is probably the destination, right?
Right.
Speculating.
I mean, it's a great place. Not that I'm partial or anything, but like, have you lived here? It's fantastic.
Right? Then shortly after that note is when the couple released their save the dates to be married at Hotel Hershey. So
Ooh,
it's
not
okay.
the castle.
It's okay you didn't get the castle, girl, but hey, I bet it was booked out that day.
They only allow the castle on weekends, and it's double the price that day.
God, honestly.
So.
Did you even know there was a castle? I had no idea.
I've heard of Hershey's Castle before.
Is it just like Hershey Kisses at the top for the point?
I don't know.
It has to be.
Looked at it,
It
but I've heard
better
of it.
be. If it's not, redo it.
Also, I would also like to point out that there are a shit ton of fucking castles in Pennsylvania. That's where we are, right? That's where the story is?
Yeah. Are there?
Yeah, there's a ton.
Who
I'm
knew?
on a subreddit called Zillow Gone Wild, and like every week there's a castle. And they're like, here it is, it's fucking $250,000.
Are they old castles or like recently built castles?
Yes.
Everything?
All of it. Yeah.
That's
like
really weird.
some of them are built, like it's not like we used to defend this land, but it was like, you know, a dude in 1920 or 50 or whatever was like, I have a castle, I'm gonna make it. And then he made a castle. And then now they're like, do you want to make it a modern masterpiece inside? And you're like, fucking no. I'll make it an Airbnb.
Let me put a fucking moat around my castle now.
Exactly. But there's
How weird.
a much larger number of castles in Pennsylvania than
wonder
I would have
why.
imagined.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It makes me think of Colorado, that Bishop's Castle. There's some dude in the mountains of Colorado that just built a castle with the rocks around him.
Yeah, like that, but more commercial.
Yeah, like
one
your traditional castle.
Yeah, yeah, not like a wow, that's cool and hand built. It's
Yeah.
just like, is that a fucking castle?
Is that a castle?
Are we still in Pennsylvania?
I wonder why.
I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, they didn't get married at the castle. They got married at the hotel.
Right,
Or
it's probably
they
right
had
next
their
door.
save the dates. They didn't get married yet in
okay,
this point in the
yeah.
story, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the save the date was set for August 13th, 2011.
That was my mom's birthday.
Well, that's when we're going to get married.
All right, not 2011 though. She's much older.
Yes. Also, no idea when they got engaged or anything like that, but just save the dates went out.
Yeah.
When fall of 2010 hit, so I kind of took a step back because I started our story at 2011, but hey, little quick step back. In 2010, Ellen was busy making plans for her wedding, and she was working full-time as a first grade teacher in Juniata? I should have looked up how to say that. Every San Diego cell in my body wants to say Juanita, but it's not Juanita. It's Juniata.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
But she was a first grade teacher at Juniata Park Academy, which is a low-income part of Philly, evidently.
Okay.
I guess her job was getting pretty stressful because the kids at school were having a hard time getting passing grades and they were troubled because it's like a lower income area. And like this article said one kid tried to like kill themselves by choking on a sock or something. Like they're troubled children.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
I know. And her friends started to notice that Ellen became different the longer she was with Sam. But she was also really troubled by her work.
Yeah.
Like her mental health is starting to decline around this time.
That makes sense.
And then she's been with Sam for a short period of time, right, in our storyline. And her friends are starting to notice a difference with her and even how she interacts with Sam.
Okay.
And they noticed that she would have to ask him for permission to sort of hang out. And if they partied together, she'd follow him around like a little puppy. And she started to lose weight and buy expensive handbags and stuff.
Well,
yeah.
we
what's
all
your
want to
take?
lose weight and buy expensive handbags. But the moment that I have to ask permission to hang out with my bestie or
It's a
somebody,
problem.
yeah, that's not okay. That's
See,
not
but
okay.
I was thinking from the perspective, because I too am in a relationship, from the perspective of like, it's not that I have to ask permission to do things like pre-kids.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask permission to go to the bar, but I am going to check with him. Like, hey man, Aaron and I want to go to the
100%.
bar tonight. Are you cool with it?
Yeah.
And so I could see if you're my bestie and I just got with Lee and you're like, hey, let's go to the bar on Wednesdays. We always go to the bar on Wednesdays. And instead of me being like, fuck yeah, see you there at 6, I'm like, let me check with Lee. You'd be like, what the fuck? You don't need to ask for permission.
Fair.
And then with the whole like following him around like a puppy at a party, she's obsessed with him. He's her knight in shining armor. And then to get skinny and fucking buy fancy handbags, I'm like, well, the dude works at NBC Sports and she's flying first class. Maybe he's got cash.
Baby's got a Birkin.
Exactly. Yeah. She's been telling me all night long. Yeah. My friends. Exactly. Yeah. So that's you could read it either way.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to set the scene.
For sure.
Okay?
But if the friends are saying it, like, I don't think that I would have been like, well, she always had to check with him. Like, if that were to happen, because in the same vein, I do the same thing where I'm like, yeah, let me just make sure Brandon's cool with it because I'm going to take off or whatever. Like,
well, let me tell the rest of the story
okay,
and then maybe you'll understand why people are saying that, because I feel like knowing the rest of the story, I'd say that shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that was weird. I'm not saying anything other than it did happen.
It. Yeah.
Did happen and I didn't like it. Okay? So I'm going to share it just to be like, just so you know it did happen and I didn't like it. You know?
Fair.
You know when you're like, I was washing that bowl too. I know it. Or whatever. Okay? But just keep it in mind. Because I want you to keep an open mind, everybody. It could go either way.
My mind is so open.
Good.
I've got aliens, government.
We need to keep everybody's mind open. Everybody
Ellen
be cautiously
Greenfield,
open. Berg. Yeah. Okay. So Ellen had eventually moved to a 6th floor apartment in the Venice Loft Apartments of Manayuk, which I guess is a neighborhood in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Sounds like it.
That has a lot of words to say. But anyway, so just to tell you, she's living in an apartment and she's sharing that apartment with Sam and it's on the 6th floor.
Okay. God damn, 6th floor?
6 floors, bitch. So around the holidays, Ellen's friends and family started to notice that she had begun to change, right? Like she's all stressed out by work and Sam's being weird. Or not weird, but she has this relationship. Yeah. They noticed
everybody's stressed.
Exactly. They noticed that she had developed anxiety more than she had ever had and was having a hard time with work and she was feeling really overwhelmed.
Okay.
She had talked to her cousin about moving into her guest bedroom, but she hadn't mentioned why she was looking to move or anything, and her cousin didn't press. And I don't know if she said it in a playful way, like, I'm going to come move in with you. Or if it was
I'll just live with you. You've got it all figured out.
Yeah. Or if it was like, hey, man, can you do me a solid? I want to come live with you.
Yeah.
But
or like, is the boyfriend coming to live in this apartment too?
And none of that was very clear.
Okay.
But also, her and Sam are in a fairly new relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you weren't in a relationship prior and then you had only been in a relationship for a couple months and you were like, hey, can I come move in with you? I don't know that I'd necessarily ask, is Brandon coming too? I guess maybe I would. Like if you guys were living together, I'd be like, what's Brandon going to do?
Like, are you good?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to move in with me?
Is anything wrong? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cousin didn't press, really.
Okay. I could also understand that point because I'm a very non-confrontational person.
Right. Like, yeah, you're my girl. Come over. You don't have to ask. You don't have to explain shit.
Give that. Yeah.
Yep.
Like my door's always open,
right?
Whatever you need.
Mm-hmm. Ellen had even asked her father if she could come live with him in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Like, go back home. Can I come move back with you? Because and from the father's perspective, it was her anxiety. Like, she was super stressed out or whatever, and she just wanted to come home. However, her father was worried that she'd lose her job if she did that. Like, I guess she had worked really hard to get into the school and become a teacher and everything. And so he's like, it'll look really bad if you don't finish out the school year. Just finish out the school year. You got a couple more months. And in the meantime, let's get you in touch with a psychiatrist or a therapist or somebody to help you get your mental health right. Something is wrong.
Dad's got the right idea.
But don't bail, you know? Like,
Dad's got the right
worked
idea.
really hard.
Yeah,
exactly.
You worked really hard. You got this position. Mm-hmm. Just finish it out, and then you can find a new job somewhere else.
Right. Then we'll come save you, but let's get through this point. Let's get you some professional help to get through it, and then let's decide what we want to do. Sure. Don't make any hasty decisions.
Way to go, Dad.
Right? So her father set her up with a psychiatrist, and that guy had diagnosed her with adjustment disorder with anxiety.
So, like, she's having a hard time adjusting to a new school, relationship.
I had to Google it because I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard of adjustment disorder. And I was thinking, does that tie into her tidiness? Like, I have to adjust everything? Or is it adjusting to your lifestyle, your new lifestyle? So Google says that it's a short-term condition that can occur with a stressful or traumatic event, such as death, job loss, or relationship issues. That's the generic AI Google-generated explanation.
So the first two are pretty solid.
Right.
Maybe a relationship issue.
Right. Okay. So I should note that in her sessions with her therapist, she denied any verbal or physical abuse at the hands of Sam. Like, it was directly asked, and she was like, no, he's wonderful. I'm perfect. Okay? Mm-hmm. And these are in her private sessions.
Yeah. Baby bought a Birkin.
Uh-huh. Her mom came and visited Ellen and stayed with her for a bit during this hard time to see, like, what's going on. Like, she's like, I want to go see my baby and make sure everything's okay, right? Yeah. So she goes to visit, and she says that she felt the whole time that she was hanging out with Ellen that she was holding something back. Like, she's like, I can't get the whole picture, and I don't know what it is. And she was trying, but she couldn't get it, right? Okay. Ellen's like, nope, everything's fine. Then on January 26th, 2011... that morning, Ellen called her mom before work in the morning, I guess like she did often, and they chatted, and then she headed off to her shift. And then when she came home that evening to the apartment that her and Sam shared, she was really stressed out because grades were due the next day. Mm-hmm. It was like the end of the semester or something. And she was really worried about her kids passing the class. She had actually talked to another teacher or principal or something on her way out the door that night. And they had to like calm her down and talk her down because she's like, I'm really worried about one student that has like poor performance. I'm scared if they don't pass, if their grades aren't passing, that the mother is going to come after me. Now, it didn't sound like a violent threat. I guess it could be taken that way. Yeah. But I think that whoever she was talking to took it as like, oh, she's scared about her career, going to come after me as a teacher. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, don't worry, the school board loves you. Everybody knows that that's not true, right? And kind of talked her down and calmed her down. But she's back at the apartment now, and she's doing her paperwork. She's got to get grades in. She's really visibly stressed out. And even like her friends she's texting. It's like if I'm stressed about work, you know about it. Yeah. Lee knows about it. My mom knows about it. Like, you share it with your close circle. Yeah. Like, I just can't right now. I'm so stressed out. I got to get this done. Yeah. So everybody's like, yes. Everybody aligns. She was very stressed out this day, okay? Okay. So Sam comes home, and she's stressed out. And he's like, all right, well, you fucking grade your grades, and I'm going to go hit the gym. Okay. So he goes to the gym at the apartments. And when he gets back after his workout, he comes to the apartment door, and he goes to open it. And it's locked, but like with the security latch. You know, like those hotel security latches that you fling shut? It's locked with that. It's not that the door is locked, or if it is, he has a key, but he can't physically open it because the latch is shut, right? Okay. And so he starts screaming to Ellen, like, hey, open the door. What's going on? Hello? And like banging on the door, but she's not answering. So he's thinking like, oh, she probably has her headphones in while she's working, or maybe she's in the shower trying to relax so she can get this done and she can't hear me. Maybe she took a nap. I don't know, but she's not fucking waking up, right? Yeah. So he starts texting her. And he's like, hello, whatever, right? And then eventually what he does is he, I guess, calls his, I'll give you more clarity later on, but I'm going off the cuff here. He calls his uncle or cousin or something to be like, hey, she's not opening the door. What do I do? And they were like, you should go to security and ask them if they have like a tool that can open that thing so you can get into the apartment, right?
Yeah. I was like, a long stick.
Right. Yeah.
Close the door kind of and shove it in there.
I see all those fucking like women traveling in hotel rooms and they're like videoing somebody with a coat hanger trying to unlock it. I'm like, it's doable.
Yeah.
We can get there.
100%. Yeah.
So evidently Sam goes down to security and he's like, hey, man, can you help me open this latch? Do you have a special key? And he's like, nah, man, we don't have a special key. But you know what you can do is if you throw your shoulder into the door, it'll open it. Like, that's how you could bust it in, right?
Okay.
So.
Solid advice. Also, I probably would have tried that before I went down. But.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked, but I would have tried it.
Exactly. Now, this is all according to Sam, right?
Yeah.
The security guard comes up with him, follows him up to the room to, like, help open the door, and Sam proceeds to slam his body into the door. It takes one, maybe two slams. The door rip opens to the apartment, and it opens from the left side, like the handle's on the left side, and it opens inward into the apartment.
Okay.
Now, on the right side, so the other side of the door is the kitchen.
Okay.
So you open the door, and you're kind of like there's a little walkway through the kitchen into the living area, and the kitchen's behind the door.
Okay.
He slams the door open. It swings him around because he's so strong. And he instantly sees Ellen slumped on the ground, covered in blood, in the kitchen with her body propped up against the cabinetry.
What the fuck?
And she is non-responsive.
Uh-oh. What the fuck?
So.
Covered in blood?
Covered in blood. He immediately calls 911. And on the phone, he's freaking out. Like, really bad.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
Yeah, you can listen to it. And he's freaking out to the point where the dispatcher is like, you need to calm down so I can help you.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man.
And so eventually the 911 call, it's kind of weird because there was two of them. Like he called and the dispatcher connected him to somebody else eventually. And so there's like minutes of call, right? It's not just like a quick, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like a 2-minute phone 5-minute phone conversation. I don't know.
God.
But anyway, while they're on the phone, the dispatcher instructs him to calm down and do CPR on her. Like, is she responsive? Is she alive? And he's like, not helping much. He's like, I don't know if she's alive. She's not responsive. She don't look alive. And so they're like, you got to do CPR on her. Like, this is how you can save her, right? And they're like, what happened? What's wrong? And he's just like, I don't know. There's blood everywhere. And they're like, okay, well, let's start CPR, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, you need to do CPR. And he's like, I guess I have to, right? Or something. Like, he's kind of stammering on it. Like, and to this guy's point, he's probably in a lot of fucking trauma. Like, there's blood everywhere. You want me to do CPR? Oh, God.
I'm going to be honest. If I came into a room and found Brandon covered in blood and they were like, you got to do CPR, I think it would take a lot.
Oh, yeah. I would be like, there's no point. But
like,
I would also check the pulse and everything. But
yeah, but you're like a trained medical person.
Yeah.
Me, not. I mean, I'd probably look to see if he's breathing or try and figure that out or whatever. But it would take a lot for me to then, like, maneuver their body and
great
stuff.
point. Great point. No. I agree, which is why I'm saying keep an open mind in all of this, okay? Because I agree. They kept saying to him, like, look at her chest. Is she breathing?
Yeah.
And he was not able to answer it. He was like, I don't fucking know. I'm looking at her and I don't know. 2 minutes he's looking at her, okay?
Yeah.
And then they're like, you got to do CPR. And he's like, all right, we're going to fucking do it. And so he starts moving her and they're like, you need to take her shirt off. I don't know why you have to take the shirt off to do CPR.
You don't.
Maybe so you can see the nipples, so you know the nipple line. I don't know what their motive was or why.
He probably knows where they are.
I'm pretty sure he could guess.
He's like, I can find those bitches in the dark.
Just my body is summoned to them. But anyway, so he's like, I can't get her shirt off. There's a zipper. And in the middle of saying, like, there's a zipper, he says, oh my God, she stabbed herself because he found a knife in her chest. Do you remember the part where I said they kept telling him to look at her chest and see if she was breathing? He didn't say shit about a knife. Mm-hmm. They just kept asking what happened. And he's like, I don't know, there's blood everywhere. Mm-hmm. But during the CPR portion, he goes, oh my God, she stabbed herself. Wait, is that your first reaction, you'd think?
No.
Yeah. So
I would have said somebody stabbed her.
Right. Especially in the chest. That's weird.
I would never think that somebody stabbed themselves just because.
But I mean, you have to consider too, she was in a bad mental place. She's seeing a psychiatrist, all this other stuff, right? So maybe
what woman would stab herself instead of cutting her wrists or something,
right?
Though? Like,
maybe he's privy to something, but that's an extreme jump.
Yeah.
She stabbed herself, okay? And the operator said, where? And Sam said, she fell on a knife. Oh no, her knife sticking out. This is a quote. Okay, her knife is sticking out. And the operator said, her what? And then Sam said, there's a knife sticking out of her heart. And it took 2 minutes into the phone call for Sam to recognize this knife, right? Which is really odd.
Where's the security guy?
Well, isn't that interesting?
Standing behind him.
Isn't that interesting? I'll tell you that. Let's get there. Let's follow my notes so I don't get too far off the cuff, okay?
Sorry.
So the police come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sam reported that when he found her, she was slumped on the floor with her shoulders and back against the cabinets, like holding her up, so she would have been in the seating position. And that there was blood all over Ellen with a knife protruding from her chest when she found her, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how he found her doing the CPR. The rest of the house looked to be in really nice order because she was known to be borderline OCD. Like, it looked really neat and nice, so it didn't look like a struggle had happened. Mm-hmm. Also, Ellen was unalived, either by herself or someone, during a snowstorm. And the police didn't find any footprints on her balcony in the snow or anything. So the intruder, if there was one, didn't come in from the balcony area. So that would indicate they'd have to come in through the front door. But the security latch on the door had been shut, right? So how did they shut that after they left?
How do you shut that?
So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Also, the police saw that the security latch had been busted, which aligns with Sam's claims that he busted the door in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the whole crime scene was essentially just in the kitchen.
Okay.
There was just her dead in the kitchen. That was the entire crime scene. There was nothing else everywhere else. Nothing out of place. Police looked through the last few phone calls and text messages on Ellen's phone while they were there that night, and they saw that they were all from Sam. And they were from 5:32 till 5:54, which would have been right up until the time that he went and got the security guard or whatever. But he was texting her the whole time, and that he was locked out of the apartment, and they were all short little messages, and I'll read them off. The first one said, "Hello," and then the next one was, "Open the door. What are you doing? I'm getting pissed. Hello, you better have an excuse. What the fuck? You have no idea." And that's his last text. Now, from my perspective, I was like, this man's got to take a shit. And the door's fucking locked.
Yeah.
And he's like, girl, you need to wake up.
I'm about to get fucking pissed.
You have no idea. I got to shit. That's how I read it.
Yeah. You have no idea. Yeah. No, I
But it's
agree.
weird.
It's a text message. It comes off aggressive in writing, but those are all normal things that I feel like I would say, at least, to Brandon if you lock me out of the house. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You have no idea. Oh my God, I'm
This
so
is
pissed.
super inconvenient, and I'm getting really irritated.
Yeah, like you have no idea what I just went through. I sat in traffic, whatever the fuck it was.
Exactly.
Just you have no idea.
Exactly.
It's not that threatening to me. It
It's just
sounds
weird.
threatening in a text message, but I could see saying all of those things.
Exactly.
And then someone reading it, and it sounds bad, you know?
Exactly. Now, the police, when they arrived, right? And according to the 911 phone call and everything, Sam keeps saying she stabbed herself.
Listen,
So the
don't
police-
offer fucking theories.
So the police immediately...
I like, you stabbed her.
No. They are buying the suicide theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow, that was easy,
I
Sam.
didn't think that was going to work. That's why I said don't offer theories.
Don't
'Cause
offer
it just
theories.
makes you look fucking suspicious to me.
No. They were like, nah, tracks, man. There's no... You burst the door down, and nobody was in here. There's no evidence that anybody was in here. She stabbed herself.
Yeah.
She fucking unalived herself.
Okay.
Fucking tracks, right?
Okay. Which it kind of does, but okay, go on.
Okay.
It kind of does. From everything that I've been given so far,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to stab yourself. But with everything that I know so far, it doesn't sound like someone was in the apartment with her. It's kind of hard to believe.
And she was
right?
covered in blood. There wasn't just one stab wound, just for the record.
That's
I'm about
different.
to tell you what the autopsy discovered.
That's different.
So, the autopsy discovered that Ellen had 11 bruises all over her body in various stages of resolution.
Girl, I have 11 bruises.
I
all
thought
over my
the
body.
same thing. I was like, that don't mean shit about abuse, okay?
Yeah, I was
that could
like-
just mean she's anemic.
Yeah.
Or she has a job that makes her run into shit often.
Yeah.
Like little kids.
Like little kids. Yeah.
And
anything.
desks. Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
Thigh-high desks.
but some of the bruises were kind of intense.
Okay.
All right, so she had one on her abdomen area. She had 3 bruises on her right knee, 3 on her right thigh, a big dark bruise on her right arm, a bit below the shoulder, and 3 more on that same arm, but on the forearm section, which included a dark round bruise near her right wrist. Like, it looks like if you were to grab somebody.
Okay.
You know, like I get bruises from people grabbing me, and I have bruised my children from grabbing them. It looked like that to me.
Okay.
But I don't know. It wasn't like a perfect tan or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just there's, you know how they're like circle and dark?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a concentrated spot right there. Yeah.
Fucking poked me.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what it looked like to me. And you can see them all online, which is so unfortunate for her family.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there were over 20 knife wounds discovered.
20.
20. She committed suicide by 20 stab wounds.
Uh-oh. She fell on her knife.
But she fell on that shit 20 times, girl. One of the stab wounds went through her chest muscles and pierced her liver. I have no idea how that, like, your chest muscles are up here and your liver's further down. I don't know. But that's what the autopsy said. It pierced her liver. One cut her aorta, so...
Neck.
Yeah, so fucking right in the neck. And then another one was just outside her spinal cord. Like it nicked the membrane on the outside of her spinal cord, but it didn't hit her spinal cord.
Her head, though.
Back of her head. Back of the neck.
Yeah, back of the neck.
Back of the neck.
Spine.
She stabbed herself in the back of the neck. And the last stab was her heart because it was in her chest.
Okay.
So she stabbed herself, almost hit her spinal cord.
Well, she stabbed herself in the liver.
Yeah.
And then the spinal cord, or
We don't know which
order
order.
those go in.
We don't know which order. But we do know that she had nicked the liver and her spinal cord. But there's not enough evidence to suggest whether or not she'd be mobile.
Okay.
If she did.
Yeah.
You know, mobile enough to stab her heart. Okay? So.
Right off the bat, I'm going to say no.
Girl, I'm going to walk in and see this girl covered in blood with a knife protruding from her chest. And I'm going to be like, what was the suicide? I have a question.
I feel like this is more of an attack.
I'm going to
situation.
process this scene like a crime scene, just in case.
Just in case.
Okay?
Just in case.
That is not what the police did. They did
were like,
not
fucking case
process
closed, wrap her up.
that 100%. They sent her off to get an autopsy, and they did not call the crime scene unit. The apartment was not guarded. There was nothing.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God is right. They botched the fuck out of this. Okay, so there was another stab wound at the base of her skull that went in 3 inches deep, which basically caused what they called a, quote, bleeding stroke, which I guess that just means that you're going to have a stroke because you're bleeding. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I didn't go into details. But, like...
It's probably, like, released blood into the brain somehow.
Right? But, I mean, like, if you have a 3-inch gash into your fucking brain, you're probably not going to still be able to stab your heart. I would think. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Don't underestimate me.
Yeah, if you're really mad. I feel like after the first stab, you'd be like, I don't want to die. Everybody has that, like, pullback, you know, after you jump. I don't want to die.
We've talked about that before, the hesitation wounds. If someone is going to stab themselves, you'll find, like, hesitation wounds,
And
right?
there were shallower cuts. There
Okay.
were shallower stabs to
Okay.
suggest hesitation wounds.
Oh, okay.
But there
okay.
were also these giant ones.
But there were also giant ones.
Yeah.
I feel like I couldn't stab myself big time.
20 times.
At least I couldn't do it more than once because I'd be like, wow, I think I'm
That
done.
hurts.
I think I'm over it. I'm going to go take a bath.
Yeah. Go to the doctor. Or I'm going to take pills and go to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many other options.
A much less violent way.
Especially for a female with anxiety.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What the fuck? Okay, so...
Not all women, but I
Right.
think historically women are much less violent in their suicides.
And I feel like we explained Ellen pretty well to understand she's not a very violent person.
It doesn't sound
Doesn't
violent.
sound like she has a history of violence. But anyway, the medical examiner determined that this death was caused by being stabbed by another person and ruled the death a homicide.
Oh, look at him.
Right?
Or
So we
her.
get...
Good for them.
We got a homicide on our hands.
Yeah.
So the police are like, oh shit.
Uh-oh. We didn't do the crime scene
We
thing,
didn't
though.
do that. And it's like 2 days now?
Oh, God.
2 days now or something?
And has Homeboy been living at the apartment? cleaning
Homeboy,
it up?
I don't think has been living at the apartment, but it is not secure.
Yeah.
So the police were like, I think the medical examiner got it all wrong, so we're just going to have a little chat. So they have a meeting and they chat. And after that meeting, the medical examiner changes it back to suicide. So there is no homicide investigation that takes place.
Well, that's good. That really clears things up.
Doesn't that make you feel good about our officials in power?
Yeah.
That we were
I got
just
that wrong.
discussing?
So what I'm going to need you to do is change your answer so that the wrong that's
So I
already
don't get in
happened
trouble.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
stay that way. What the fuck?
I mean, or the police really believed it and they talked to the medical examiner, and the medical examiner, according to him, was like, well, after I talked to the police, they gave me more information and I understood the scene and I understood her background, and so I changed it to suicide.
Sure, but I feel like a medical examiner is just supposed to look at the evidence of the
You're not supposed to
body.
talk to the police.
Yeah, they're supposed to look at the evidence
That's
of
the point
body.
of it.
Yeah.
Unbiased third-party opinion. Tell me what the fuck happened. Piece it together with science.
But just with the body. Like,
Yes. Yes.
that's it. Not
Yes.
with, like,
we have
and
whole
then
crime
we saw
scene
fucking
reconstructors.
Mark or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yes.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Fuck Philly.
Mhm.
So anyway, Ellen's parents were obviously floored, and they were like, no way would our daughter commit suicide, even when she was anxious and everything. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. But I also understand people, families with family
you don't
members
wanna
who suicide themselves.
think that.
Yeah. I get that, okay? But they're like, absolutely no way. And surely she did not do it by stabbing herself if she were going to do it. There is no fucking way she'd stab herself.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Yeah.
So they hire a forensic pathologist because they're like, well, and it sounds like they got money. I don't know for sure. I'm speculating here. Or they just drained their entire fucking wealth. Actually, the dad was an orthodontist and the wife was a hygienist. So I'm pretty sure they had decent money, right? But I think they drained everything to make this happen. So they hire a forensic pathologist and a crime scene expert to analyze the crime scene photos and the autopsy photos, because at this point, that's all they have.
Yeah.
And they also hired a retired police detective to help them track down potential witnesses and such. So they pulled together their own crew and they were like, help us solve this. They're not treating it like a homicide. What do you think? Because of how poorly the police have handled Ellen's case, her parents had filed 2 lawsuits. One, to change the cause of death on her death certificate so that they could get an open investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And another for conspiracy by the local law enforcement to cover up a murder because of what you just explained, right? That, like, there's more evidence that you're trying to cover it up than there is evidence of a suicide.
Yeah.
So they open up 2 lawsuits, right?
Good.
Both of them are still active as of 2024.
Jesus.
December of 2024, that's now. And the case to change her cause of death is actually pending in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I feel like you could just read the autopsy report. Like, as a judge, you could just read the autopsy report and be like, can we just go ahead and change the cause of death?
Or like 20 stab wounds.
That's a lot.
Are we sure?
Yeah. But okay, we're still waiting. So I guess the case went to the Supreme Court because in 2023, a lower court ruled that Ellen's parents lacked standing to bring the lawsuit.
What does that mean?
Exactly. What?
They're like,
you just lack standing.
You don't deserve it?
I don't know.
Like, you're just not allowed to?
I don't think
because
they
we
justified
don't want
it.
you to?
I don't think they justified it at all. They were just like, you lack standing. You're out of here. They all fucking know each other, I'm sure.
Lack standing.
I'm
so
sure.
It's the so nobody knows you, and you don't have a place at this table.
Right. Like, the Popo 5-0, I know them, and we're in it together.
And they said it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
That's how I read that.
That's fucking crazy.
And this is the problem.
That's admitting that out loud in real life?
This is the problem with our officials in America. They fuck us. Anyway, so
thank God we were born here. We're so lucky.
So lucky. But you know what?
Number
Only
one.
the rich people in America can fight it because that's what her family is doing. They're fucking doing everything to fight it.
But even they don't have the standing?
You and me couldn't afford all these 3 professionals. You know, we would rely, if this happened in our life, we'd have to rely on people volunteering their time to help us.
Right.
Fucked up to do what's right.
But even they don't have the standing.
Yeah. No, evidently, according to the court, they don't have the standing.
Richer.
So... But the judge agreed. The judge did agree that the investigation was deeply flawed.
Oh, that's good.
So thanks for agreeing, prick. Like, yeah, this is fucked up, but I'm not going to change her cause of death. You don't have any standing, so later. And so they took it to the Supreme Court.
Jesus.
So we don't know where that's going. But once they get that changed, then I feel like we'll have a better shot at getting some fucking, like...
something.
Right, exactly. Justice, hopefully. So her parents just want to bring justice to their daughter, obviously, by finding their killer. And they are having to literally prove that she didn't kill herself.
That's insane.
Instead of Ellen getting to be proven innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
You know, or innocent until proven guilty. For her suicide, they're literally having to, like, prove that she didn't kill herself.
That's crazy.
Oh my God, it's insane. This poor family.
So, where's the boyfriend?
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to him. We'll get to him.
Fiance.
There's a whole lot. We got so much to cover, my friends.
Okay.
So the medical examiner was deposed as a result of all of these court things, right?
Yeah.
And he said under oath.
Did he deny it?
Oh, girl.
And then did he defend it?
It's worse.
So
did he
weird.
depose it?
Well, he's being deposed.
So he said under oath that the information from the crime scene that he received from the police, so the word of mouth information.
Because there was no crime scene.
That he received. Exactly. Overruled what he found while he was examining her with his own eyes. That's what he said.
How?
How?
How is that possible?
How?
How is that possible?
That's not true.
That's not how this works.
That's not true.
That's not how it works.
When you see something with your own eyes,
then
that proves it to you.
Yeah.
Not what Harry
that guy said might have happened.
The fuck? Oh my God. Okay, so...
Do you think that's just him saying he's scared of the police and he has to do what they say?
He said that's the reason he changed the cause of death.
Because of
what they told him.
That's insane.
Because of what they said about the crime scene or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The scene where she was found, that he changed it to suicide. But that all of the evidence that he saw with his eyes suggested homicide. And so another thing that the medical examiner said, too, was like based on the facts given to him by the police about the door latch and everything, he said that she had to have been alone. So that's why he changed it to suicide also. Like that was another contributing factor. Okay, but that's not your job. Your job is to look at the facts here. So anyway.
Yeah, you look at her body.
So the medical examiner's report mentioned that the police were the ones that said Sam broke in the door. And at another point in the report, the medical examiner says Sam is the one who said he broke through the door. So there's kind of varying, like, where did the source that Sam broke through the door come from? Because that's not a proven fact to us. That's what Sam said. And if Sam's the one who did this shit, we need to prove that Sam's telling the truth. Did he or did he not break through the door? And we have a security guard, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the police reports and in the 911 call, no one ever documents or says that Sam broke the door down. It's not documented anywhere other than in the medical examiner's report. And in the medical examiner's report, it doesn't align. Like, there's two different, we don't know.
Sources.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're both hearsay, but okay.
Exactly.
Because the medical examiner wasn't there, didn't see it.
Exactly. Allegedly, Sam claimed that he had asked the security guard if he could help him open the door, and the guard walked up with him, but the security guard came out on his own and filed a declaration saying that he was not with Sam.
Oh, shit.
He's like, I was not there. I don't know where that came from. I was not there. Sam did come ask me for a tool, and I told him we don't have a tool. Or that it's not available. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, nah, man, you bust the door down with your arm or something. I don't know if he even agreed that he said that, but he for sure said, Sam, I was not with Sam when he broke down the door. Because where the fuck was the security guard when he finds Ellen, you know? Like, there was no security guard there. So I don't know, though, if that came about because Sam said there was a security guard or if the medical examiner thought Sam said it and he put it in the report. There is no evidence anywhere. There's not on the 911 call. It's not on the police report. We don't really know other than this medical examiner's report. And allegedly Sam says he broke down the door.
Okay. Also, I would like to say a security guard would probably not recommend you to break down the doors to their apartment.
That's so much more work for them.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Like, they're going to be like, no, you can just, I mean, most you can do is wait till she wakes up or something, I guess. I don't know. Sorry.
Or call the police or fire department or something.
You can call a wellness check,
right,
blah, blah, blah.
Right. I don't know, but I could also see a security guard being like, dude, those things are shitty. Just bust it in with your shoulder.
Like, if you hit it a couple times, it'll probably open.
Right? Exactly. Maybe, like, just wiggle it a bunch and it'll fling open because they're loose. I don't know. But anyway. So it comes out, I mean, the security guard declares officially through a lawyer or whatever, I was not there. So the property manager of the apartment also came out and said that the latches in the apartment were known to slap shut on residents. Like, when you shut the door really fast, it would just slap shut on its own. Like, I don't know, the fucking shaking of the door would wiggle it. Like, it sounds like they were pretty loosey-goosey. And that she had actually locked herself out of her own apartment because of that feature.
Oh.
And that she knew that if she needed to shut that door hard enough to slam that latch, that she could. So if that's a known thing about the apartment, and if Ellen's being attacked and she somehow fought her attacker off enough to get them out the door and slam the shut, and then she dies in the corner. I don't know. It's not what she said directly. That's what I'm speculating based off of her knowledge.
Or somebody left
and then
slammed
the door
behind them.
And it latched shut. Either one, right? Okay. So that is a known default of these latches.
That's not good.
Anyway.
It's a real shitty default.
It's not a very good security device.
No. Sounds like they're really easy to break and kind of inconvenient to have.
Right. So it could have happened.
Okay.
Right? It's a reasonable doubt at this point.
Yeah.
To fight
for sure.
the fact of suicide.
Yeah.
Because what else is going to happen? Like, either she had the thing latched, knowing that her boyfriend, soon-to-be husband, is going to come back from the gym any minute.
Right.
She latched it.
Maybe thinking like, I don't want him to find me. You know?
Oh, maybe. That
like,
could be a theory.
I don't want that on him.
That could be a theory if she stabbed herself. Yeah, that could be one, I guess.
But again, stabbing is just a real rough way to go.
Also, terrible timing, you know? Like, he's home. Do this shit while he's at work or something.
Like, take the day off work.
Don't do it within the 30 minutes he's going to go to the gym. Like, that's traumatic.
That is
traumatic. I just talked to her.
Whoa.
Be missing for a minute.
I just got off the treadmill. I don't have time for this right now. I'm so tired.
But anyway, I guess that latch is questionable. That's weird.
Yes.
And because it's known to slam shut,
yes,
that could prove that she's not the one who shut it.
Yes.
Okay?
100%.
Another interesting thing to note is that eventually Sam's uncle and cousin, who were lawyers, they put out a statement through their lawyers saying that they were on the phone with Sam when he broke down the door, and they heard him break it down and scream, and they're the ones who suggested that he called 911. And that's the reason he called 911. Now, we have never known about him being on the phone with his uncles or whatever.
His lawyers?
There are lawyers, but they are his uncle and cousins.
Yes, but they're also probably his lawyers.
100%.
Who he calls when he needs legal advice.
100%.
Hey, if I break this door down because my girlfriend and I are fighting,
what's going to happen?
Am I going to get in trouble?
Right.
Yeah.
So there are people who say that they heard, because he wasn't quiet about it trying to get into the apartment. So there were other residents who heard him and saw him in the hallway, like sitting on the floor talking on the phone, because he did, phone record show, he did call his uncle. And that he talked to him. I don't know how many times or anything, but his uncle comes out and says that he had called his cousin. Sam had called his cousin when he couldn't get into the house, and his cousin put the phone on speakerphone. So that's how the uncle heard. But he was just calling his cousin.
Okay.
And that this whole time they're on the phone, and he screams and finds Ellen, and they're like, hang up now and call 911. And that's what he does. Okay. So now we have somebody witnessing that he broke in the door.
Sure. But it's a family member, so it's a little sketch, but sure.
100%. Well, the independent fucking detectives out here that the family hired, they have the timeline of events, and they have it because of phone records. Mm-hmm. And there's video surveillance of Sam coming to the security desk and getting on the elevators, and everything's timestamped, okay? Yeah. And the phone call that his uncle and cousin claim happened don't align with the timing of when she was found and when he called 911. So...
okay.
It's not an investigation that the police are looking into, right?
Yeah.
So there is no legality issues at this time. But the independent people who are being paid by the family who have this retired knowledge are looking at it and lining it all up, and they're like, nope, they're lying. But nothing is happening because this is just the family looking at it.
Okay.
So according to the family and their investigation, the timelines don't line up, and they're suspecting... they don't say it, right? But I'm assuming what you just assumed is that the uncle and cousin are now coming out to protect Sam, right? Oh, for sure it was him who broke it down. It wasn't him who attacked her. He didn't break in to get to her, and she was trying to protect herself from him coming after her. I was on the phone when he broke in. Interesting, huh?
So he had called them.
He did call
them or like long before he called 911?
So here's another thing. I can't remember if it was the cousin or Sam said he did call, and they suggested going to security and unlatching the door. Okay. So I'm theorizing that there's a grain of truth. He did call them.
He called them way before he went to security and all that.
Right. Right. And that he was not on the phone when he broke in the door. But that's my speculation.
Okay.
Okay. But I don't know any of that to be true. And I'm only saying that because of the timeline that this independent study has discovered.
Yeah. And again, that wouldn't be that weird. No. But it's weird when you lie.
Yeah. And I get why he's lying. I mean, he's probably like...
trying to cover your cousin's ass or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it seems like a white lie or an innocuous lie.
But, yeah.
But it also might not be.
Exactly.
You don't know because you don't know what fucking happened.
So we should investigate, right?
Yeah.
Well, an independent retired pathologist reviewed Ellen's case through photos and said that she did not have cuts on her hands and arms that people get when they defend themselves from a knife attack. Okay. So she didn't have defense wounds. The wounds on her chest and neck were shallow, which is sometimes seen when people do the hesitation strikes when they suicide with knife. Mm-hmm. However, that alone doesn't prove that she killed herself because she could have been unconscious during the stabbings. Mm-hmm. So she wouldn't have been able to fight back. Right? Okay, like if you're already fucking knocked out or something.
Or like you said, the spine one, if she wasn't able to
move and you're just like stuck while you're getting stabbed. Jesus Christ, you can't fight back.
That's terrifying.
He also noted that she had bruising on her neck that matched the pattern of a hand or finger strangling someone. Mm-hmm. Now, the medical examiner says, I didn't mark anything down about strangling because the hyoid bone wasn't broken. But there's a fucking bruise on the neck that you can see in the photos.
But she had 11 bruises.
And it wasn't in the medical examiner's report.
That's insane. How are you going to
physically see it with your eyeballs?
So how are you going to mark bruising on knees and fucking thighs and shoulder if you're not going to with
the neck?
The neck.
I don't know. Fucking weird, right?
Yeah. I don't like it.
I don't either. I guess this pathologist was like examining these photos, and in the photos themselves, like these photos are like dissection photos. So he's seeing under the skin and in the muscle and stuff. And in one of the photos, just with his eyeball, he could see hemorrhaging. And he was like, that hemorrhaging in her neck skin right there is conducive with strangulation. It doesn't prove that it was only strangulation or whatever.
Obviously.
But you see that in strangulation cases, and it was nowhere in the medical documents. And it's in the picture. Like, he didn't even have to have the body or anything. You just see it right there. There it is, okay?
How is that not enough for the Supreme Court?
Don't you think? I don't know. Because people know each other, and they're preventing it, I'm sure. But anyway, that's my conspiracy. Crazy. Let me just keep my fucking tinfoil hat on, I guess. But anyway.
I mean, I'll don mine.
Right?
Deck these halls with tinfoil hats.
That's right, goddammit. I guess in the medical examiner's report, not only did it leave it out, but it specifically states that there was no hemorrhaging or injuries to the neck, which does not align with even the picture of your eyeballs.
How do you not do your job that well? How?
Well, remember how he got deposed?
Yeah.
Well, in his deposition, they asked the medical examiner, like, hey, you see this hemorrhage in her neck in this photo?
Yeah.
What would you call that? And he was like, a hemorrhage in the neck. And they were like, bingo! Would you agree that that would have been caused by pressure put on Ellen's neck? And the medical examiner was like, I mean, it means some sort of blunt trauma happened that caused the vessels to hemorrhage. So basically agreeing, but not saying the exact same words.
Yeah.
And that he didn't document it properly, right? Like by agreeing that you see it there, you didn't document this properly. So then they were like, have you ever been accused of keeping bad records or been reprimanded or warned on the job for something that you've done inappropriately or whatever? And he said no, but it turns out the lie detector determined that was a lie because in 2012, some memos surfaced where the medical examiner in question got reprimanded in regards to a case from 2009 and 2011. They weren't specifically stated, but Ellen died in 2011. And he got in trouble for not accurately reporting strangulation injuries specifically. The full light under oath. And he got me wondering if he's out there some secret strangler hiding in plain sight, marking all his kills as suicides. But that is also drunk Stacey when she was writing this. I'm like,
it was the medical examiner.
I'm like, it's the perfect fucking crime, man. You go strangling people, they end up in your lab on Monday, and you're like, not a strangulation, even though he probably got his fucking rocks off on strangling her. And then my second bullet point here is, I don't know that. I just made that all up. Nobody go dox this guy.
Yeah, right.
Who fucking knows? It just sounds like he was lazy, honestly.
It's like the fucking fire chiefs that are arsonists.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like, this is my fucking time to shine, baby.
Exactly. And you know how all the medical examiners are just fucking weird?
They're so weird.
I know. So I could get behind that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Fucking crypt keepers over here.
Yeah. So the retired pathologist also noted that in the crime scene photos, Ellen was found slumped in a sitting up position against the cabinets. However, her face had a dried trail of blood from her nose going to her ear, which would suggest that she was in a different position, and it was dried blood. So in the pictures. And now remember, Sam had moved her from the sitting position to the laying position. So all we know about the sitting position is what Sam told us.
Okay.
She was found in a different position because he had attempted CPR.
Yeah.
But the dried blood going from her nose to the ear doesn't align with whatever position was there, right?
It doesn't
was
align
described.
with a sitting position,
No,
sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pathologist is like, this to me immediately suggests that the scene is staged. Because everything's really clean and nothing's awry. She's just dead in the kitchen with a lot of blood. In her left hand, she was holding a white towel and it didn't have any blood on it. No blood whatsoever,
weird.
Right? Why are you going to hold a towel while you're stabbing yourself? Fucking
like, other than
weird.
To not get blood places.
So, like,
also, as a
pressure on
very
it?
clean person, not saying that I am one, but if I was one, I probably wouldn't kill myself by stabbing myself in my kitchen. I'd go to, like, the bathtub.
In the tub?
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't kill myself by stabbing myself.
No, number one,
Right?
that. But also, like, if I was a very clean, borderline OCD person, I wouldn't be, like, a man's not going to fucking clean that shit up. At least not well.
We know Sam isn't going to pick this up. I'll just do him a favor and do it in a bath of bleach.
And blood?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to give him that kind of a chore? I doubt it. You know? If she was in love with this man?
Yeah.
Doubt it.
Knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
So this pathologist also noted clumps of hair on the kitchen floor and said that actually is seen very often in stabbings and in strangulations because the person grabs the hair to hold them in place.
Ugh.
Like as a way to start stabbing.
Yeah.
As a handle, basically.
Ugh.
So nobody explained the clumps of hair on the ground. Other than I'm like, dude, I'm a girl. I get clumps of hair everywhere, but I didn't see the clumps of hair. I don't know if they're like literally in chunks or if it's just a couple strands.
Yeah. Well,
But according to the family's people, they're like, that's clumps of hair.
But again, as a clean person, you wouldn't have just like vacuum worms of hair.
Yeah.
You know, you would have picked that up.
Right.
That's not an
Exactly.
innocuous little clump of hair.
100%. So the pathologist also analyzed all of the knife wounds Now, here's where it gets a little sketchy for me. Admittedly, I'm pretty far into the research at this point, and I'm like, God damn, we're still going? Shit, I didn't know it was this deep, okay? But I had read something about, like, they got casting of the knife wounds. Now, I don't know if it was, like, digitally printed castings of these knife wounds or whatever so that you can recreate whatever. They also maintain a portion of her spinal column, the part that got stabbed or whatever, and saved it. So that's still evidence that can be re-reviewed, okay? I know, it's gross.
Save that.
It's gross, but it's important right
100%,
now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they analyze all the knife wounds, and the one on her back of her neck was slightly to the left of center, so it wasn't, like, right on the spine, right?
Okay.
I'm guessing this is the one that nicked the spinal cord, so it's kind of to the left.
Is she right-handed or left-handed?
Well, we know she didn't use her left hand because it didn't have any blood on it.
And it had that towel, yeah.
Right. The right hand kind of did, or I guess, had some blood on it. I don't know. It wasn't specifically stated how much blood was on the right hand. But I'm guessing she's right-handed. It didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was slightly to the left of center, and it was angled from left to right, which I keep trying to recreate. Like, I guess I could stab myself that way if I wanted to.
Yeah,
but,
if you're going this way. But who's gonna stab yourself in the fucking back?
as a way of suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that
it's
just sounds like it hurts.
fucking weird, especially if you've already tried your chest a couple times or all around your body, and you're like, I got my liver already. I got my chest plate. Let me try my neck.
Yeah.
From the back.
From the
You
back.
go from the front
is
or something.
crazy.
If
At
you're
least,
gonna
like,
do
the
it.
side.
Yeah, what the fuck? Anyway, so, I mean, it's not to say she couldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this shows, like, if she did stab herself, she would have had to use her right hand in order for her to stab herself in the back of the fucking neck. They had a female police officer with the same build and height as Ellen attempt to recreate the stabbing motions, and she wasn't able to recreate it. Like, I guess the angles and everything, it was impossible for this chick to recreate it. Again, not to say Ellen couldn't, but some pretty good evidence that is probably not likely.
And they're like, well, Ellen had much more fucking flexibility.
Exactly. Yeah, right? Like, she could move her elbow like none other.
You should have seen her.
Also, like I said, the apartment was never processed like a crime scene, and it was allowed and cleared by the police to be cleaned like less than 48 hours after her murder, professionally. Like, I don't know if it was the apartment or if it was like hazmat or whatever, but they were like, yeah, go ahead and clean that up. So any evidence we might have gathered from the apartment, like luminol
Yeah.
or anything like that, is gone. Like, we
Yeah.
don't have that evidence anymore because they didn't process shit.
Oh my
All we
God.
have are the reports and her body. Also, the day after her death, one of Sam's relatives, it's not clear who, I'm speculating it's that lawyer uncle or whatever, got permission to go into the apartment, which was not a crime scene, and collect all of the electronics.
Oh.
They got Ellen's phone and her computer and Sam's computer, and they went under the guise of Sam needed his computer. And so they were doing him a favor to go into the apartment and get the computer, but they didn't know which computer, so they grabbed all
So
the
they grabbed
electronics.
everything.
Yeah. So that's their statement.
Okay.
But,
Cool. Love that.
they're like, don't worry, we gave them all to the police when they asked for it. Sure,
Yeah,
dude.
sure.
Sure, dude.
After doing whatever it is that you did
Exactly.
or didn't do,
But there's
allegedly.
no way to prove, whatever.
Oh
so
my God.
now it's compromised.
Fucking crazy.
The forensics were done on all of the devices, and there were searches on all devices regarding suicide painless, like painless suicide.
Number one, not a knife. That's not the answer. Did they then do those exact same Google searches and find that the answer would not have been
A
with
knife?
a stabbing?
How interesting. Everybody's like, there's no way she would have killed herself, but also there's no way she would have killed herself with a knife. And then you have more evidence that even if she was looking up suicide tactics, which it doesn't prove that she was the one searching it.
no.
It does. It's very circumstantially, like,
Okay.
persuading.
Sure, but
But-
it depends when the searches were made and all
right,
of
right,
the
right.
things
All
around
that,
it.
all that. But also,
The answer wouldn't have been a knife.
it would not have been a knife.
It
And
would
she
have
was
been, like, pills.
specifically searching painless.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But anyway, that's
Uh-huh.
just something we have to keep in our mind, right?
Sure.
Ellen's cousin says that one time she needed to cover up a blemish or some shit for some fucking thing she was going to, and Ellen knew exactly what to use, and she suggested using Dermablend.
Yeah.
And I guess this Dermablend makes them, like, invisible, which I
Okay.
didn't know about Dermablend. I guess I should, probably from the Johnny Depp fucking court case with, what's that girl's name?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard, yeah.
Shit on the bed.
That was a whole thing. Yeah, anyway. Guess she knew about Dermablend or some shit. And in hindsight, the cousin's like, that's kind of weird. She knew how to cover up a bruise with Dermablend. That's not some knowledge, like, standard public knowledge. I don't know if it is, ladies.
Well,
Let me know.
I'm now thinking I should search it later because I often have very aggressive bruises.
Dermablend, evidently, is
Evidently.
what you need. You're all excited.
I'm like, I'll write this down. I'm not being abused.
You are not. I will stand by Brandon on that one.
I will state
For
that
now.
For now. I will state it publicly. I am not being abused, but I am anemic.
That's another thing. I'm like, did they test if she was anemic?
You would think they would.
You would have thought they would have done anything.
I would have thought they would have done a lot of things, though, so
Yeah.
who am I to say?
Right? One of Ellen's really good friends spoke with Ellen shortly before her death, and Ellen was acting really worried about something. She had recently told her therapist, and she had asked that friend, like, hey, do you think I could lose my job over this? Like, I confided in my therapist in something, and I'm afraid it's going to make me lose my job.
Well, what was the thing?
The friend didn't press about the thing all the way. Listen, the friend is going to school to become a school counselor, so they're kind of knowledgeable in the fucking therapy session world, right? And the laws and everything that protect people.
Okay.
So she was like, the only way your therapist can say anything outside of your sessions is if you say you're suicidal, because then they need to get you help.
Mm-hmm.
Are you suicidal? And her friend Ellen said no, and that's not what I'm worried about, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And everything seemed like with her friend, it seemed to be all about her job, really, is what she was getting at. But
Well,
her
it's
friend,
the one kid, yeah.
yeah, her friend in retrospect says, like, I don't think it was her job. I think she was using that as sort of a way to, like, publicly state what's going on. But her friend thinks maybe it was something with the relationships. Now, this is in hindsight, like with Sam.
Okay.
She thinks that she's covering up something about Sam. Ellen's friends are like, Sam's suspicious.
Yeah. Now.
And her
suddenly.
family is like, Sam's suspicious, or anybody is suspicious. Just somebody look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all suspicious.
Exactly. And so they're saying all these things. Like, in hindsight, it's kind of weird. I don't really think it was about the job, and I didn't really think it was then, but I didn't press her because she didn't want to be pressed. And she told me she wasn't suicidal, so I got my answers and I moved on, right?
Yeah. Ugh, that's fucking hard.
When asked by friends about Sam and what they think, everyone says that there's no way Sam would have killed her. Or if so, they'd be really shocked because he was actually a nice guy or whatever. Like, they had nobody had any warning signs. And when they asked Sam's friends, like the article I read, fucking tracked down all his friends. And most of them didn't want to talk. But the ones that did, they were like, oh, Sam was definitely the popular rich kid in school. But he was really nice. Like, he was very likable, popular rich kid.
Okay.
So they would be shocked to learn this also. But he also was a typical popular kid. Like, he got in trouble. At one point, he had moved to Tucson, Arizona, and was going to and attending the University of Arizona. Mm-hmm. And while there, he had been arrested for, like, underage drinking, or he had gotten fined for underage drinking or something. But I'm like, who hasn't? Especially in fucking Tucson. Yeah. There's fucking nothing to do. I used to live there. I know.
I thought you were going to say he went to a water park.
I worked there. No, but I remember going to parties around the University of Arizona and stuff. It's your typical college. Yeah. It's nothing different. I'm not surprised by that.
And it's a bunch of kids that are out in the middle of the fucking desert.
Right. That does not tell me that he's a bad guy.
No, it tells you that he had friends.
Right. One of Sam's really good friends best friend, allegedly, is actually a comedian and an actor by the name of Adam Pally. I don't know if you recognize it.
Nope.
I guess he was in the TV series Mindy Project and Happy Endings, and he was also in the movie Iron Man 3 and Sonic the Hedgehog and some other shit.
No one saw Sonic.
My kids watch it all the time.
I did see the Mindy Project, though. I don't know who he is.
I recognize the guy's face, but I would never know his name. But anyway, allegedly, they were roommates all fucking college, I'm guessing. I don't know. But anyway, they were roommates, and so people are, like, reaching out and asking him questions, and of course he doesn't reply.
Yeah.
But in 2020, during the fucking pandemic, Adam Pally and Sam made a podcast together called Balls Sometimes Lies. And they're talking about sports. So it's a sports podcast.
Balls Lies?
Yeah. Balls Sometimes Lies.
That's a dumb name.
I agree. But so is I Said Goddamn.
True.
I was going to say, you know how in the pandemic, how everybody created a podcast and girls went off and did true crime and boys went off and did sports talk?
Yeah, I do.
They're us. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the podcast should have been called, like, If I Did It by O.J. Simpson or something. I don't know.
Well, anyway, in 2014, Sam had moved on to marry somebody else. He ended up having a daughter and all this stuff. And in the podcast in 2020, he's talking about his daughter and all this other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't talk about the crime or anything like that. It just kind of gives you an insight into who the guy is. He sounds like a normal guy.
Yeah.
They talk about doing weed and shit. And this article
doing
mentioned...
the weed?
Yeah. And this article mentioned that when Ellen was found, there was illegal marijuana in the apartment, but also what the okay,
there's still
welcome to
illegal
2011.
marijuana
Yeah,
in Philadelphia, I'm pretty sure.
Right? Exactly. I'm sure you're gonna find that anywhere now. That does not tell me the guy's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's like perfect or anything. I don't fucking know anything. I'm just saying
we don't know what happened.
Exactly. We don't fucking know what happened. And you came up with a great idea. The person leaving slammed the door and it's flung shut. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Because the fucking didn't process the goddamn scene right. But anyway.
Yeah, there would have been blood evidence from another person, you would think.
Right? Or some sort. Oh, they did check her under her fingernails and everything, and there was no other DNA. It was only her DNA was found. So there is that.
But like you
said,
she
didn't
have
fight
defensive
back.
wounds.
Yeah.
So then that makes me think that she could have been incapacitated with the like knife, the spine thing.
Oh my gosh, the spine
Or
thing.
in
I
any
didn't
way.
write this down. I only have 2 more bullets, but I didn't write this down. But they had that spinal column, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her parents, investigators, they re-investigated that, and they found that it is possible and likely that she suffered that stab wound post-death.
Oh.
So that would suggest that also the stab wound in her heart was post-death.
Yeah.
But we don't have those. We don't have that information.
Because
we only
the
have this
medical
spinal
examiner
column.
fucked up so badly.
So bad.
Does he still work as a medical examiner?
I think so. Yeah, he's
So
got
cool.
he's got like 1 star.
That's so cool. How
Yeah.
you can
Isn't
just
that
do
sick?
that. Yeah.
Isn't that sick?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for
And he was
him.
like in trouble for not reporting things accurately,
That's
specifically around strangulation. That's why I'm like, this guy did it.
right? Like if it was nobody else, it was the medical
Right?
examiner.
If you're not motivated enough to prove it wasn't you, then I think it was you.
How can you be so fucking lackadaisical at your job? Like just quit. You're not helping society.
Girl,
Just quit. Just stop. Stop
why
doing
would you
that
stop
thing.
when you're getting paid a decent amount of money?
I fucking hate this country.
You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
This world.
He probably needs health care. So,
Girl.
Sam
I could be a medical examiner. I need health care.
Sam has never publicly come out or said anything except for in this one motherfucking article I was reading recently, he did email the guy back and he said essentially that he wishes that people would understand that mental health is a serious issue and that they're being disrespectful by continually asking whether or not she committed suicide and that she deserves peace and privacy and to let it go and that his life has been ruined by this, not only because he lost the love of his life, but then he's had to defend his honor this whole fucking time, which if he is truly innocent, fucking poor Sam.
Yeah, sure. 100%. If he is innocent, poor Sam. However, I
got some
understand everything that
questions.
he's saying, but I'm going to side with the parents. And if they're not willing to
Let go
let
of that.
go and they don't want her to find peace and all of that and the mental health thing, then I'm just going to side with them and say,
They
no,
made
keep
her.
digging. Fuck you, keep digging.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree. And this guy, from his perspective, he's moved on. He's got a whole other family, and that's his past. That's like the college sweetheart or whatever, the one that got away. So I get not wanting to relive it. And if
Great White Buffalo.
Exactly. But also, if you, how come he believes the suicide so much? Like, what does he know?
He probably just wants to move on with his life.
But what if he knew a lot? What
And-
if he was like, I had to stop her from killing herself all the time, and I just don't want to tell you guys that? But you think
well,
you
then
would
he's
to
doing
exonerate
a disservice
yourself.
to her.
Yeah.
He's doing a disservice to her. If he did have more information there and wants her to rest in peace and all of that, then he needs to come out and say everything that he has. But if he's not, he probably just wants to move on with his life. I'm going to take the, assume he's not guilty, right? Because he has a podcast.
And that's what you're granted as a United States citizen, innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
Right.
And I could see someone just wanting to move on with their life and get, whatever, tired of people asking them the question. I get it. But also,
I just feel like
I feel like stopping is not the right answer.
No. And I feel like if you're the only one to witness a crime or a crime scene,
Or the first one onto a crime scene, at
and
least.
you're the only one who gets to narrate what happened here, then we need to question those and back it by science.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you now have a vested interest in not telling me the truth.
Unfortunately, you don't have the luxury of not talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, from my perspective. So then this is why that latch becomes so important.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody witness it or not? Because if nobody witnessed it, what if she was trying to stay away from, get the fuck out and lock him out? The neighbors all heard a ruckus.
Yeah.
They all heard shit, but he's there trying to break down the door, right?
Yeah.
And so if she's trying to keep him out and he fucking gets in and hurts her, harms her, and then does this whole little scene and goes down the security guard, how do I unlock it, whatever, and nobody's there, and he's like, just buzz through. Or if that even happened, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Then it would happen when he burst in, you know, to get after her and kill her. And he could be like, oh, cover that base. That's very speculative. That's
it's all speculative.
a long stretch, but it's plausible.
But
It could happen. There's reasonable doubt. Let's look at it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just, and anything could be twisted that way. That's why we investigate.
Right.
That's why we investigate. And some people came on record and they were saying like, hey man, I've been doing this a lot, and you'd be surprised at how many suicides that if you didn't have video of it, you would think that it was a murder. Like there was one case where they were literally treating it like a homicide, and then somebody happened to have fucking surveillance where it shows the person killing themselves. And they're like, holy shit, that's crazy. You would have never, based on the science and everything, worked this out. So there are outlying cases like that. But we have a lot more circumstantial evidence to suggest that if she had wanted to kill herself, perhaps she wouldn't have done it with a knife. But also...
Or she would have reached out to her parents and been like, yeah, no, I agree, Dad. I understand that you want me to finish out the school year,
you need me
but
to come
like,
home now.
I can't,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
She obviously had safe places where she would talk
Right.
to those people.
Right.
And whether or not she wanted to say everything, she had places to go.
Exactly.
I find it hard to believe that a suicide would have happened before, like, running away to Dad's house.
And I feel like we have enough science to question whether or not she was stabbed when.
Yeah.
Was she alive? Was she dead? I feel like that should have been done the first time.
Yeah, that too. If it was all post-mortem, then how did she do it?
The only way we're going to get these answers is if they change her cause of death. So I'm rooting for that one in the Supreme Court. Hopefully somebody up there's got a brain cell rattling around that'll allow it to be questioned even. Like, don't just shut it down.
Yeah.
But to close this all off, because we don't know.
Yeah.
I just told you everything. Sam's out living his life. Nobody is in trouble for this. It's still a suicide, but there's a lot of questions, and her parents are fucking pissed. Right now, Ellen's parents have been married for about 44 years, and they have since retired and moved to Wellington, Florida, in Palm Beach, and they're not going to rest until they have answers for their daughter. And they said, I want my daughter to be proud of me because I was proud of her. So I'm not doing shit until we solve this. So that's where we're at, guys.
Wow. Well, fucking good for them. I feel terrible for them. That's horrible. And
oh, it's awful. It's the fucking system fucking people over again, man.
I hope the Supreme Court can get their shit together and get that.
Well, here's to
overturned
hoping.
at least.
Otherwise, it turns out you can just fucking stab some people and call it a suicide and move on. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Just kidding.
Don't
Not
stab
advocating violence.
No.
Ignore my sarcasm.
Oh, I hate it.
I know. Doesn't it make you just want to, like, pop somebody in the nose?
Yeah, like everybody.
Like that medical examiner?
Yeah, or the cop who was like, hey, so you can't write that because that's not the answer that I wrote.
Right? I feel like if they all collectively came out and if they were like, hey, listen, we get it. It looks like a homicide, but guys, we are the professional here and we've done all of this and we know it's not. And unfortunately, these things happen in mental health advocacy and whatever. That'd be a totally different story than like they're not working with the parents and they had to go get their own shit and they're like fighting to protect their reputation, which is not your job.
Right.
Your job is not to protect your reputation. Your job is to protect the people.
Yeah.
And you're not doing that
Mm-hmm.
because you have an ego, because we're humans and it's dumb and it's stupid.
Yeah, but it is dumb and it's stupid.
Oh, so if anybody else needed any more rage for today to add on top of the drones, there's just unsolved death mysteries. But don't worry, guys. We have the adjuster's bullet. So,
thank God.
Yeah, it's already been processed. I'm sure they have everything done. Oh, one little thing about the adjuster thing.
The CEO guy?
Yeah, that they have been calling the adjuster all over Reddit. The adjuster guy, before the police were like, we have a partial smudge print of a fingerprint, but it's in, like, we can't read it. We can't tie it to anything. And now they're like, it matches. It's like, can you keep your story straight?
No.
Anyway.
Riling you up.
So, if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to our case, go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Our handle is @ISGD Podcast. You can join us on the Facebook group called the Goddamn Pod Group.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to email us, you could do that at isgdpodcast@gmail.com, or you can snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
9. And don't you fucking forget to send me all your alien photos. I love you. Bye.
Yes, and drones. People in New Jersey, send us drone footage.
Alien drones.
Firsthand. Love you, bye.